life.
What is this, a jar full of weeds?
It's extra income, so be careful with it. It's milkweed.
I repeat, what is this?
It's a chrysalis, but what's more important is what it's going to be. That's why I brought all this camera stuff.
Chrysalis, fine. What's a chrysalis?
It's a smooth cocoon. There's a caterpillar inside, evolving into a butterfly.
Kathy, could you put that over there?
You know, it looks like it might be a monarch. They tell me they eat the milkweed. Well, what's your assignment, Jenny?
Well, the Science Center hired me to photograph the birth of a butterfly for a new exhibit. But the problem is I've also got to write a leaflet to go along with the photos.
Well, what's the problem?
Well, the idea is to encourage butterfly collecting as an educational hobby, but I just can't seem to get the material in focus.
Well, what would you like to say?
Well, I think I'd like to show that butterfly collectors are more than just hobbyists. They're scientists, too, in their own way.
Well, let's see. You might start with a picture of the butterfly to grab attention, and then tell what the collector does to study them.
That's a good idea.
Fred, Gwyn, listen, we're about to start down here. Could you pick up Kurt and come along for a minute? Good, thanks. Bye. Or you might start with the collector. Tell about his scientific curiosity and end up with a butterfly.
That's a good idea, too.
Well, whichever order you choose will emphasize a different part of the process.
Thank you.
Now, if you haven't forgot your regular job as a TV script writer, today we're going to be focusing on ways to structure a topic in expository writing.
We came. Hi, Gwen.
Oh,
Yeah, we came as quick as we could.
listen, about Norm's birthday. Are we still planning on surprising him tomorrow?
You know, I almost forgot about it.
Good, well, let's see. Now, Cassie, you and Jenny are going to make a coffee cake, right? And Kurt, can you and Fred think of some way to decorate this old barn?
Sure, we'll put up balloons, hang up some trinkets.
We taping something?
Videotape. Gwen has a videotape ready for us to see. A big interview. I'm just so excited. I cannot wait.
No, it's not actually the interview.
What's this all about?
Oh, well, I wanted to see if you thought this piece showed the importance of order and arrangement, reasons why we structure a topic in writing. Now, if you'll be seated. Oh, you are already seated. Oh, well. The students should see that structuring a topic is really a necessary step in writing an effective essay. We all have ideas and images running all over our mental field, but if we don't structure them clearly, what we write will look like a bed of angry ants. As we begin to coordinate and group these elements, these ideas and images, facts and figures, around a central idea and purpose, each of them starts to find its relative position. Like a band leader, we can now direct the course our writing will take with a pencil. Things start to make more sense. The elements seem to fit the occasion and communicate to the audience. What seemed to have no direction before now makes a strong point.
Well, I think that really gets across that having a topic isn't enough. There's got to be some direction.
Yeah. In this case, the leaders, like the thesis, are a central idea in an essay, and the other group members are like supporting points.
What I like is the way it shows order coming out of confusion. You know, if you don't structure your essay, your readers can be left completely in the dark.
And I guess you've never been in the dark about anything, Norman.
No, I can't say that I have.
So why don't you plan to come to my place tonight about 7:30 to make Norm's cake? Do I need to get anything?
No, don't worry about it. I'll bring whatever we need. So I've already got the eggs and flour, spices, the raisins, and the recipe calls for...
What's cooking, ladies?
You can eat whatever you find. We were just talking about one of the better ways to structure a topic.
The recipe technique?
No, Norman, we were discussing listing. You see, you can use listing as a way to generate ideas. It's also a way to put into order ideas that you've got and haven't yet organized.
I know. I do it myself.
Yeah, well, I was just telling Jenny that the technique reminds me of a recipe.
Oh, how?
Well, First, you lay out all of the ingredients in advance, and then you mix them together in the right order, you see. Lists help to tie together things that seem unrelated, like eggs and raisins and flour and...
Flour and raisins?
Eggs.
Yeah, for a freshly baked...
Cassie, you're really right. I really should use the listing technique for my butterfly assignment. I mean, I'm wanting to promote the pleasures of butterfly collecting, so I could list the things I found, like the thrill of the chase and scientific study and ecology and habitat.
Yeah. Listen, here's an outline of the sketch. Try to read it before we do it for the others.
Okay.
I have to go see Gwen. You two, please, carry right on with your edible essay.
Thank you, we will.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of recipes, I was reading in the National Geographic the other day, and did you know that the Aborigines in Australia eat butterflies? They do. Very, very tasty, I understand. Sort of a light and feathery texture.
Well, listen, Kurt. I'll invite Norm out for lunch, and that should give you enough time to start making decorations for tomorrow. Okay. And Fred, can you think of some place to hide the balloons?
No problem. Do you need help with anything else?
No, I think everything's taken care of. I hope he's pleased. Some people don't like having their birthdays remembered.
With Norm, there is no predictor.
Oh, yes, there is, Kurt. You see, one of the nice things about using the thesis sentence technique for structuring a topic is that you come up with a simple sentence.
Oh, of course.
Actually, that simple sentence describes what the reader will learn. Then it's your job as a writer to make that learning happen. That's a kind of prediction.
For example.
Excuse me, Gwen.
Just a minute. Let's see, here's one. Butterfly collecting combines the precision of science with the aesthetics of art. What does that mean to you?
Well, that your essay would be about butterfly collecting.
And it'll say something about the art and science of collecting.
Exactly. If the thesis sentence is clear and concrete, it takes a stand and sets an order for the whole essay. Yes, no?
Sorry for interrupting, Gwen, but I need to run across the street to the bank before lunch.
Oh, well then, why don't I come with you, and then we could go to lunch together, if that's all right with you.
Okay, it's great.
Good. Well, there's a new cafe I want to try out. It's just a couple of blocks down, so we could walk.
Wonderful. Do they have cappuccino?
I'll treat you.
You're treating a cappuccino? I'll take two.
Kurt, see if they're gone. Cassie, Jenny.
To Waldo, the coast is clear.
We'll put this newspaper back on and you'll never know the difference.
Here we go.
Okay. Bloom.
Here.
Kurt was just demonstrating what happens if you fail to structure a piece of writing.
Right, even if your facts and figures are there, they're just so much hot air if you don't put them together in some meaningful way.
Gee. You guys are really involved in our work, aren't you? I mean, you're not even getting paid for this like Jenny and Cassie and I are. What are you doing?
It is an honor to serve you, Your Majesty.
And I am honored by your service, noble sir. What do you think I'm doing?
Look, I forgot my checkbook. I came back to get it, and I find Jenny in the garbage can. What's going on?
Oh, Norm, I thought you were a quicker student than that. They're working on a sketch about the use of the titling technique. A great way to structure a topic. Right, Your Majesty?
Sure. If you call me Your Majesty, that suggests a role and a relationship. I am a royal monarch, and this is my throne. And if Fred is a valiant knight...
It implies that I will defend her from a trespassing knave like you.
The same thing works as a planning aid to structure an essay.
Yeah, you come up with a good title, and it suggests a good shape for the essay.
As a matter of fact, all of this talk about royal monarchs has given me a title for my essay. Stalking the Flighty Monarch.
A good title is like a good commercial. It tells what the writer is going to say in the essay.
Well, I think you need to work a little bit more on your idea. It's not at all clear. Just because you see yourself as a monarch on a throne and a knight doesn't mean someone walking in the door is going to.
Well, what do you think we should do?
Well, I think you need to present as much information as it takes. I didn't see you as a monarch on a throne at all.
Well,
How about you, Cassie?
well, I have to admit I saw you as a kind of bizarre living sculpture.
Actually, I thought we were doing a modern version of Humpty Dumpty.
My checkbook, sir, if you please.
Mistress Cassie?
Thank you all. Gotta go. Carry on.
Norm, what did you think was going on here?
Me? Me? I thought Fred was getting ready to throw away a perfectly good writer.
This is a section of the A.M. Tibbetts interview, combined with a comment by Dr. Maxine Hairston. It's what gave
Another
Norm and me the idea for
misconception, I
the
think,
sketch.
may have to do with the
here it
nature
is.
of organization. We often believe that we have to write an outline before we write, and this is true. But research seems to indicate that many young writers get stuck on the outline, at the very top of it. Down they go through the outline, Roman 1, big A, little 1, and right in the middle in this forest, they're stuck. It's probably better to organize a piece of writing as a total thing, if you possibly can. Most pieces of writing don't tell you more than 2, 3, or 4 things. You find out what the major things are. You need a bed to do this, or a table. In fact, I tell writers if they don't have a bed or a table, they're in trouble in more ways than one, because you put your ideas on cards or pieces of paper, arrange them on a bed or a table, keep arranging them like this. This over here, this here, this here. No, that won't work. I'll do it backwards, or I'll do it sidewise, or something like that. So that the writer has an idea of the total structure or organization of his piece of writing. Then he can fill in the blanks. The misconception that you write an outline from the top down, that's not, in my experience, the way the professionals work. They tend to do the forest, and then they find the smaller trees and whatever they need to fill out the picture.
Those of us who write know that very frequently we may think we know what we're going to say before we start to write. We may have a plan, but almost inevitably, as we write, things come to us that we had not expected. So we do have ideas while we write. There is an element of inspiration, discovery, this kind of thing. And a plan should not be so rigid that the discoveries simply have to be tossed aside and say, well, I can't use that, it's not in my plan. A plan ought to be flexible enough to allow new things to be put in from time to time.
Okay, now for our sketch. Norm, when you and Cassie go sit at Norm's desk as if you were the camera and watch.
Excusez-moi.
All right. Ready? Norm and I had this idea for explaining the outline as a structuring tool and how people are intimidated by it. I'm trying to build an outline, but how will I ever get a handle on this incredible mass of facts and figures? Huh? What's that?
The outline. At your service.
But where did you come?
From your desk drawer.
Oh!
Summoned by your lack of purpose, I am the outline. Order, structure, and organization.
Oh, wonderful. Everything I'm not.
Well, what have we here? Let's see. You do have a one-sentence thesis statement. There is ample evidence to suggest that butterfly collectors are first-rate scientists. Is that true?
Well, yes, sure. Both scientists and collectors go through the same steps.
Ah, and what are these steps?
Well, there's observation, data collection, studying the results, and recording them.
Excellent. You see, simply coming up with a good thesis statement already suggests 4 subdivisions for your topic. But in an outline, some points are more important than others.
All right, what next?
As you know, in subdividing a topic, there is always a minimum of 2 parts. Now, how does a scientist and collectors do their observing?
Well, they both study nature, but the scientist usually has a laboratory, while the collector does all of his observing in the field.
Okay, we'll put the differences down at A and B.
Great. Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Please. Note that the subdivisions must be parallel, even in a topic outline, like mine. Which brings us to collecting, right? What would you say there?
Well, the scientist collects data, and the collector catches butterflies. There's really no way to tell the difference between the two at this stage, but there are 2 important points.
And they are?
At A, I could say no difference as collectors, and at B, something about how both are motivated by an overpowering curiosity.
Good, we'll make that B, curiosity in both.
Hey, can I have a C?
Of course you can. Or you can further subdivide B with a 1 and 2 if you wish. Be my guest.
Well, at C, I'd like to define collection. It comes from the Latin word to choose together.
Good. Well, you've written up to Roman numeral 3. Now you're ready to start to write about studying.
Wait a second. This would be a perfect place to mention that collectors have a responsibility to the butterflies they collect.
Oh, no, you don't. You've got your outline now. It's orderly, proportioned, and parallel. Don't go messing with a good thing.
But it just occurred to me, and it doesn't hurt the order of my essay at all.
Oh, no, you don't. I said no, it's too late.
But it's an important point. Collectors help scientists to know and protect the butterfly's environment.
No, you've got your plan, and now you have to follow it exactly.
But that's crazy. The writing is just starting to come to life. I don't want to stick to the plan.
Nope, you've got to stick to the plan to the very end.
You seem to have gotten our roles reversed. The purpose of the outline is to help the reader and the writer and not to put them in a straitjacket.
Oh, no, wait, you can't.
Remember, the writer is the ruler of the outline and not the other way around. The purpose of the outline is to provide order, proportion, and parallelism. But thinking doesn't stop when you've finished your outline. Remember, the writer is the master of her tools and not their slave.
Bravo! Oh, that was very good. But what was wrong with that sketch?
The way my friend here almost broke my neck.
What, Gwen?
Well, all your points were good, but the outline should be a flexible planning tool, and here you've made the outline appear evil.
I resent that. I really helped her get going.
Yes, and when the time came, she really helped you get going.
What I meant to say is that the outline is a very good planning tool, but it ought to be flexible enough so that the author, the writer, is always in control.
You know, sometimes I get a good idea while I'm writing, and I can't really decide if it fits into my essay. Might be a good idea, but belong in another essay.
Good point, Cassie. Listen, why don't we go over to the monitor? Come on. Thank you. Norm and Jenny showed us what happens when a plan is too tight. Now, Dr. Maxine Hairston from the University of Texas at Austin has a strategy for just that sort of predicament. There we go.
I think the strategy that one should use, that I would use in that kind of a situation, would be to keep a pad on my desk while I'm working, and as soon as I have an idea that I didn't expect, to quickly stop and make a note about that. Enough detail so that I can tell what it is that I'm thinking about, what this insight was. Then hold that to one side for a minute, continue working as I had been to finish a block, probably not finish the whole thing, but finish a particular section so that I wouldn't lose track, to get sidetracked there. Then, when I had time to for a pause, I would look at that's insight that I'd had and ask myself, okay, does this fit into my overall purpose? Is this really connected with what it is that I want to say? Now, this assumes that the writer knows what his or her purpose is, and I think this should certainly be part of pre-writing that the writer has decided on a purpose. That insight may have been a wild hair. It may be something that you think, well, that looked like a good idea, but I guess that doesn't really fit in here. But I can save that. Maybe I can use it later. I think writers should begin to look at what they're doing as accumulating a stock of material that they are going to be able to use at some other time. Not every good idea has to be used at the moment. You can put it aside. You can have a file of material that you're accumulating for later use. It doesn't all have to go in the wastebasket. So if you take that attitude, then I think you can say, hey, that's a really good idea, and I like that. Maybe I can't use it right now, but I'm going to use it some other time.
That really makes sense. Put down all the good ideas you can think of first, then select the ones that apply the most to your subject.
And file the others away for use later. No waste, no haste.
Jenny, excuse me for interrupting, but you'd better make haste. The blessed event is here.
Oh, I have never seen anything like that before.
Oh, gosh.
Beautiful,
I almost
Jenny.
feel like it's Mom. Hey, better get it outside so the sun can dry its wings.
Yes. Listen, why don't we go and sit back over there?
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it at all.
Really? You know, I thought it looked really tasty. How about you?
Oh, Norm, you have no feelings.
You know, that was beautiful and educational.
Educational?
Yes, because it reminds me that one of the techniques for structuring a topic is to make a central analogy and work it out in the essay.
Central analogy. What is that?
Well, it's a form of comparison. If you think of our script on structuring a topic as an essay, then Jenny's butterfly assignment is a fair analogy for the writing process.
Sure. It works how two things that may not seem very much alike share characteristics that explain what you're writing about.
But you have to be very careful with analogies. They are very persuasive, and they can sometimes go too far and try to take over. But I think this is a pretty good example, don't you?
I think I see. A writer in the research and discovery stage is like a caterpillar. No wings yet, but a ravenous appetite for facts and figures.
And when the writer is thinking and incubating...
And structuring?
He's very much like the chrysalis for the butterfly. All wrapped up in himself, where new arrangements can turn facts into ideas, and ideas into
A strong thesis.
Now you've got the idea. Now let's take it a step further.
Well, then is the polishing stage like our butterfly drying its wings?
Yes, a complete, whole creature ready to fly into the mind of the reader.
Nice and neat.
You know, an outline really is a lot like a chrysalis. Useful for planning and transforming, but an empty shell once the essay has emerged.
True up to a point, Jenny, but you've got to remember that one of the chief failings of an analogy is that it can go too far and try and prove too much.
Meaning?
Well, the outline is like a chrysalis, but only a little. The outline is still very useful to the writer after the first draft is completed.
Well, sure. You can use it to check what you've written, to see if what you wrote is what you intended.
Yes, you know, now that I think about it, it probably makes sense for me to add a bare-bones outline of the techniques from our script to the study guide.
Or you could just ask your students to develop one of their own. What did you ask us to do? You asked us to learn to write for ourselves, right? The best way to learn to write is to write.
True.
Oh, it's 5:30. I'd better get going.
Oh, well.
I've got a lot to do before tomorrow.
Oh, you have something special on the schedule for tomorrow?
Oh, yes. Tomorrow we make the actual outline for our script and sort out assignments, but other than that, nothing to cause butterflies.
So where is he?
And he'll be here any second. Hey, let's look like we're working.
Good idea.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Norm. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Thank you very much, guys.
And what is in that little white box you've been trying to make disappear, Norm?
Oh, well, I guess you can call it a half-baked essay on my birthday.
How's that?
Well, I didn't do any researching or pre-planning. I didn't do any outlining or listing. I didn't even structure it myself. I just sort of walked up to the supermarket bakery counter and bought it.
Well, it does have a nice one-letter title.
That gives us a clue to your topic.
Still, I'm very much afraid, Mr. N, you badly misjudged your audience and the occasion.
Yes, I'm afraid I did. Entirely. And I'm really sorry. I thought if I didn't remember my birthday, nobody would.
First piece is for you.
You can open your presents later.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't break anything. Oh.
How is it, Norm?
Mmm, delicious. Cassie, what's in this cake?
Oh, just a few things I chased down here and there. Flour, eggs, butter.
Rice?
How's the texture, Norm? Sort of light and feathery?
Mm.